we have 2 days to explore the city of Lisbon. It's a city with unique modes of transport, beautiful street art and streets, and a particular delicious treat. Come with us as we explore Lisbon. We have come to Portugal's favourite elevator, the Santa Justa Lift. It stands at 45 metres tall, and it kind of looks a little bit similar to the Eiffel Tower, and that's no coincidence. That's because its architect was a very big fan of the Eiffel Tower's architect, and so it has an iron casing and some archways, shapes that replicate the Eiffel Tower. Now, if I'm being honest, the lift ride itself is a little bit underwhelming, I won't lie, but it's worth it for the views that you get. You come up here and you get panoramic views of Lisbon. There is a lookout that you can go to too. It's closed currently, but in the price that we paid, which is €30 each, I believe that ticket covers the lookout as well. There's another way you can use the lift. It's with a public transport card. I'm not sure how much it costs. We don't have it because we're trying to walk Lisbon, but that does not include access to the lookout, I believe. Like a lot of things here in Europe, this lift is over 100 years old, and its purpose was originally to bypass one of the many steep hills here in Lisbon. More recently now, it's a real tourist attraction. I don't think many locals are using it to bypass the hills because the lines here are ridiculous. We just waited 30 minutes in line to come up. Was it worth it? Look, it's worth it for the lookout. However, I think €5.30 is kind of steep. Much like the viewpoint and the hills in Lisbon. A fun fact about this lift is that it was originally powered by steam. Pretty interesting. Guys, we have come to Praca do Comercio, which is arguably Lisbon's most beautiful and biggest square. It's got yellow buildings that border it and then faces the river. It's huge. Very popular spot for tourists and locals to catch up. The centerpiece is a giant statue of King Jose, I believe, with some other additions too, which I found interesting. Now, there used to actually be a huge palace here, but that was destroyed by the massive earthquake in 1755, I believe. And they didn't rebuild the palace, but they rebuilt the square, and it is as it stands now. And speaking of the earthquake, the massive arch behind me, I think it's called the Rua Augusta Arch, was built to commemorate the rebuild after that massive earthquake. I've just realised that there's an elephant in the statue behind me. First one we have seen in Europe. Guys, even just walking the streets of Lisbon is so beautiful with the tiled floors, the colourful buildings, and we've not even hit some of the best spots yet, particularly the things Lisbon are most famous for, which are their trams and funiculars. Guys, we have come to what is arguably one of the most famous streets here in Lisbon, if not the most famous. You'll see soon why, but I've somehow lost Roche in the meantime. I found you! Guys, that shot literally took an hour to get. We hope you enjoyed it. I'm so confused. I don't understand why it took so long. It runs only every 15 minutes. Oh. Took 4 for Roche to get on to nail the shot. And did you nail it? I think so. Let us know. That is right, this street is known for its bright yellow funicular. They're very fun. It does have a very big line at the bottom. It will cost you €3.80 for a round trip if there are 2 of you. What we did is Roche took it up, gave me the ticket, and I rode it back down. So we both got a ride on the funicular. It's a very short trip, it's about a minute. They do run every 15 minutes, so particularly at the bottom there is always quite a big line and you do have to wait a while in between. I'm not sure why they only run every 15 minutes. I would check out if you can ride from the top first, because the top does not have a line, and then see, because I had to show my ticket at the bottom, so I'm wondering if you can get it from the top instead of waiting in the very long line at the bottom. Like we said, we waited an hour for Roche to get on, so that would be a much more efficient use of your time. So like a few other European cities that we visited, like Amsterdam and Venice, I have heard that Lisbon is best explored on foot. That is if you're okay with stairs, stairs and more stairs. It's incredibly hilly, but that is why they have the lifts and the trams. It is to help people go from the lowest point to the highest point, because otherwise those quads be burning.
My quads!
And on the topic of Lisbon being a walkable city, I would say arguably the top thing to do in Lisbon would be to get lost in Lisbon. We're on our way walking to one of the really popular neighbourhoods and we just stumbled across this huge cathedral just by accident. So that is what can happen when you just set off, go for a wander, see what you find.
Guys, we have walked over to the start of the most famous tram here in Lisbon, which is Tram 28. It is a very iconic yellow tram and it is very popular, if not probably the most popular tourist attraction here in Lisbon. And the reason is, it is a 7-kilometre tram and the route it takes goes past so many of the other key sites here in Lisbon. So it is very, very popular. It is also known for the line to get on it being almost as long as the route itself. So there's a very long line already this morning. It's pretty crazy. So I'm not sure we're going to go on it, but another hot tip is just to walk some of the route, some if not all of the route if you have the time, because like I said, the route is very popular because it goes past so many popular sites here in Lisbon. It is a warm morning here in Lisbon. Well, actually temperature wise not that warm, but it feels very humid. We've got a nice little fruit cup here just near the tram stop for Tram 28 to keep us going this morning. It was €2.50, so not too bad. Nothing like some fresh fruit on a hot morning.
Guys, look at this escalator we just found. Now we gotta go all the way back down.
Yeah. Guys, that gave me serious vibes of Universal Studios Hollywood, the lower lot. Anyone? Anyone? If you haven't seen our video, we'll link it up there, but this one definitely reminds me a lot of those.
Now, if you do plan on waiting in the big line and hopping on Tram 28, just be aware, I don't think it comes very frequently because we've left the #1 stop and have been walking for about half an hour and only one's gone past. So keep that in mind. Maybe bring a book, a podcast, some snacks. Guys, I cannot get over the intricate details Lisbon has to offer. For example, if the house isn't painted a, lovely pastel colour, chances are it's covered in hand-painted tiles. And then if that's not enough for you, as you're walking around the streets of Lisbon, you're not walking around on paved concrete. No, too boring. You're walking around on individually placed tiles or like ceramics, kind of like a mosaic. There is so much detail that can easily go unnoticed, but don't worry Lisbon, I'm noticing it.
We are here in the neighbourhood of Alfama, which is one of the most beautiful neighbourhoods here in Lisbon to wander through. It is one of the oldest neighbourhoods that is known for its narrow streets lined with restaurants and shops, and also its very steep streets. The famous number 28 tram does run through Alfama, and it runs right up to probably the most iconic landmark in Alfama, which is St. George's Castle. As we've wandered through the streets, we've made our way to this lookout. We're not sure what the name of the lookout is, but it's got beautiful views of this body of water, as well as some of the beautiful buildings here in Lisbon with their orange tiled roofs.
Now, of course, Lisbon is known for its street art. One of the most famous street artists is Bordello II, and he is known for making 3D pieces of animals made entirely out of rubbish, because his motto is basically one man's trash is another man's treasure, and he does a very good job of it. We found this piece here in Alfama and it's pretty cool.
We have come to Lisbon's famous Pink Street. Not sure where it got the name from, but it used to actually be the city's red light district, but nowadays it is better known for a place to have a bite to eat and a drink during the night, and it's also pretty famous for being an Instagram photo spot. Now, if you're curious on where to stay in Lisbon, we really liked where we stayed. We stayed at a hostel called Lisbon Calling. Lisbon Calling, it's about a stone's throw away from Pink Street, to give you an idea of location. And it's been really, really great. We've had breakfast included every day. It seems to be a converted apartment building, so there are about 4 rooms on our side, shared bathroom, shared kitchen. And during the week they lay out breakfast from 8:30 to 10. There's bread, there's rolls, cheese, jam, butter, coffee, tea, cereal, fruit, juice, you name it. And then on the weekend they do what's called anytime breakfast. So we each have our own shelf in the fridge and in the pantry, and they literally portion out everything I just mentioned for each room. So we have a full breakfast buffet of our own for tomorrow that we can enjoy at any time. If you are interested into looking into our hostel, we'll include a link down below. And speaking of links, if you are interested in doing any tours or anything in Lisbon, we will include some links in the description below of a few different options for you. While we have not done any of these tours ourselves, they all have very good reviews, and just so you are aware, if you do book through our links below, we do get a bit of commission on those, but have a look for yourself. There's plenty of great tours out there. We have come to get what is arguably the most iconic snack here in Portugal. Now, when you look up where is the best spot to get one of these from, most places will tell you the same place, which is Pasteis de Nata. Now, this place is famous because I believe it actually was the first place to ever create this snack, and it has quite a unique recipe that it's held till this day. However, from all my reading and research, a lot of people suggest that while locals would suggest tourists visit the original place due to the history, most actually prefer one from this place. So we're going to go in and see if it lives up to the hype.
We have come to Manteigaria for a traditional Portuguese tart. They are fresh out of the oven, they are warm to touch. We can see through the windows here them actually making them by hand. It'll be the freshest Portuguese tart we've ever had. I think it's the only Portuguese tart I've ever had. And we put a little bit of cinnamon and powdered sugar on the top. According to the internet, that is what you're meant to do. Oh my gosh, that's so good. Custard, but then the cinnamon adds to it. I got a bit of a pancake flavour. Don't know why. I really, really like it. Guys, I'm actually surprised to say that was not overrated at all.
That is disgusting. Disgustingly good.
That tart, and by the way, we got two more because we're already addicted. That tart is a tart to dream of in days to come. That tart is a reason to come back to Portugal. That was so good. Whew. They were €130 each, so I mean, for the taste that I just experienced, 100% worth it. €130, I'm just trying to convert that to Australian in my mind. Like a little over $2, and that was like, you wouldn't get that price at home from a cafe. At home, that'd be like at least $4, and it would not taste that good. So A+. You gotta come here to get your Portuguese tart.
And guys, that is it for our time here in Lisbon. We've had an absolute blast exploring the city, tasting some delicious Portuguese tarts.
Disgusting.
But it's time to head on to our next Portuguese city tomorrow. So if you liked the video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. We're on our road to 1,000 subscribers, so we'd really appreciate it. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye.